On August 16, 1997, identical twins Sarah and Emma Williams, both 7 years old, disappeared without a trace during a family vacation at Walt Disney World in Orlando, Florida, vanishing from the crowded Magic Kingdom in broad daylight while their parents were momentarily distracted, creating one of the most baffling missing children cases in the history of America's most visited theme park. The girls had arrived that Saturday morning with their parents, David and Linda Williams from Atlanta, Georgia, to celebrate their upcoming 8th birthday with a magical weekend at the most magical place on Earth. Wearing matching pink Disney princess dresses and carrying identical autograph books they had been excited to fill with character signatures. The family had spent the morning enjoying classic attractions like Pirates of the Caribbean and the Haunted Mansion, with the twins showing particular enthusiasm for meeting Disney princesses and posing for photos with their favorite characters throughout the park. Where are you reading from? Share your city and country in the comments before we continue this story. Around 2:30 p.m., while waiting in line for the popular Space Mountain attraction, David stepped away briefly to purchase bottled water from a nearby vendor, leaving Linda to watch the twins who were playing a hand-clapping game and singing Disney songs while other families queued around them. When David returned less than 3 minutes later, Linda was helping an elderly woman who had dropped her purse, and upon looking for Sarah and Emma, discovered that both girls had completely vanished from the crowded area without any witnesses seeing them leave or anyone suspicious approaching them. The immediate search involved hundreds of Disney cast members, Orange County Sheriff's deputies, and ultimately FBI agents who implemented an unprecedented lockdown of the entire Magic Kingdom. But despite searching every attraction, restaurant, shop, and backstage area for over 24 hours, no trace of the Williams twins was found. 9 years later, in 2006, the accidental discovery of a hidden maintenance tunnel during park renovations would uncover disturbing evidence that would finally explain what happened to Sarah and Emma, revealing a truth so shocking that it would forever change how Disney approaches child safety and expose dark secrets the corporation had desperately tried to keep buried. The initial investigation, led by FBI Special Agent Maria Rodriguez, became the largest missing children operation in Disney World history, involving not only federal agents, but also specialized child abduction units, forensic experts, and Disney's extensive security infrastructure in a coordinated effort that extended far beyond the theme park boundaries. Disney Corporation immediately activated Code Adam, their internal child safety protocol, which effectively sealed all park exits and deployed over 600 cast members to conduct systematic searches of every accessible area within the Magic Kingdom. While security cameras throughout the park were reviewed frame by teams of investigators, the search revealed the staggering complexity of Disney World's operations, with miles of underground tunnels known as utilidors, restricted backstage areas, administrative offices, and maintenance facilities that created a vast network of spaces where missing children could potentially be hidden or lost. Investigators interviewed more than 300 witnesses, including Disney cast members who had been working in the Space Mountain area during the time of disappearance, families who had been near the Williams family in line, and character performers who might have interacted with the twins earlier in the day. But no testimony provided concrete leads about their whereabouts. Analysis of Disney's extensive security camera system, though more advanced than the 1999 technology, showed clear footage of the twins playing in line at 2:32 p.m. But subsequent recordings failed to capture any clear images of the girls leaving the area or anyone approaching them who could have been responsible for their disappearance. The investigation quickly expanded beyond Disney property to include nearby hotels, shopping centers, and residential areas within a 50-mile radius, with the Florida Department of Law Enforcement deploying helicopters equipped with thermal imaging technology to search wooded areas and waterways where the children might have been taken. Background checks on all Disney employees with access to the Space Mountain area revealed no red flags, though investigators noted the concerning ease with which someone with proper credentials could move through restricted areas of the park without attracting attention. David and Linda Williams were thoroughly investigated and cleared of any involvement, with polygraph tests, financial records analysis, and interviews with family and friends confirming they were loving parents with no motive to harm their children or stage their disappearance. The case attracted massive media attention, with networks like CNN and Fox News providing continuous coverage that generated thousands of tips from viewers across the country. But none of the leads produced breakthrough information that could explain how two children could simply vanish from one of the most monitored and secure locations in America. As weeks turned into months without progress, the investigation began to consider increasingly disturbing possibilities, including the involvement of organized child trafficking networks that might have specifically targeted Disney World due to its reputation as a family destination, where children would be plentiful and parents might be less vigilant. The 9 years following Sarah and Emma's disappearance were marked by the Williams family's unwavering determination to keep their daughter's case in the public eye, while struggling against Disney Corporation's public relations machine that seemed intent on minimizing the incident's impact on the company's family-friendly reputation. David Williams left his job as an accountant to dedicate himself completely to searching for his daughters, establishing the Sarah and Emma Foundation that specialized in cases of children missing from theme parks and tourist destinations, organizing annual awareness events at Disney World's gates every August 16th despite legal challenges from the corporation. Linda, devastated by the loss and battling severe depression and anxiety, became a passionate advocate for enhanced child safety protocols at theme parks, testifying before congressional committees and working with national missing children organizations to develop better prevention and response systems. The couple hired private investigators who uncovered disturbing information about previous incidents at Disney properties that had been kept out of public knowledge, including several other cases of children who had gone missing in Disney parks over the previous decade, though none had received the media attention of the Williams case. The private investigators also revealed the existence of a much more extensive network of underground tunnels and restricted areas than Disney had initially disclosed, with architectural plans and employee testimonies indicating vast areas of the park that had never been thoroughly searched during the original investigation. During these years, the Williams family received dozens of false leads, calls from people claiming to have seen the twins in various states, and even ransom demands from hoaxers. But every lead was investigated exhaustively without producing concrete progress toward finding Sarah and Emma. Media coverage of the case fluctuated between periods of intense national attention and relative obscurity, with shows like America's Most Wanted and Nancy Grace featuring the case multiple times, generating hundreds of viewer calls but failing to produce the crucial information needed to solve the mystery. Disney Corporation faced multiple civil lawsuits from the Williams family and other parents alleging inadequate security measures and negligent supervision, but these cases were settled out of court with confidential agreements that included non-disclosure clauses preventing the families from publicly discussing details of the settlements. As the years passed, Sarah and Emma would have turned 16 in 2006, and their parents maintained hope that if they were still alive, they might find ways to contact their family or escape from their captors. But the complete absence of any confirmed sightings or communications made this hope increasingly difficult to sustain. The case had also inspired copycat incidents and false confessions from mentally unstable individuals seeking attention, further complicating the investigation and causing additional emotional trauma for the Williams family, who had to endure repeatedly being told their daughters had been found, only to discover the reports were untrue. On June 3, 2006, nearly 9 years after Sarah and Emma Williams disappeared, a team of Disney maintenance workers conducting routine renovations in the Utilidor tunnel system beneath the Magic Kingdom made a horrific discovery that would finally provide answers about the twins' fate, while revealing a truth more disturbing than anyone had imagined. The maintenance crew, led by Supervisor Jack Mitchell, was inspecting a section of tunnels that had been closed since the mid-1990s, due to structural concerns when they discovered a concealed door behind years of accumulated storage equipment and construction materials. Behind the door, they found a small underground room that appeared to have been used as some kind of makeshift living space, containing children's clothing, toys, and most disturbingly, items that matched descriptions of what Sarah and Emma had been wearing on the day they disappeared. The workers immediately contacted Disney Security, who secured the scene and called in the Orange County Sheriff's Department and FBI agents who had worked on the original case, transforming what had begun as routine maintenance into the reopening of one of Florida's most notorious missing children investigations. Initial examination of the hidden room revealed evidence of long-term occupation, including makeshift beds, a small cache of food supplies, and heartbreakingly, children's drawings on the walls that appeared to show two girls trying to depict their surroundings and experiences in captivity. The room also contained dozens of personal items belonging to other children, including clothing, toys, and identification items that connected the location to at least 6 additional cases of children who had gone missing from various Disney properties over a 15-year period. Forensic investigators determined that the room had been deliberately prepared for confining children, with locks that could only be operated from the outside, minimal ventilation, and evidence that it had been used repeatedly over many years by someone with intimate knowledge of Disney's tunnel system. The most disturbing discovery was a collection of videotapes and photographic equipment that had documented the final days of multiple victims, including Sarah and Emma Williams, revealing that they had been kept alive for several months before dying from illness and malnutrition in the underground chamber. The investigation immediately focused on identifying current and former Disney employees who would have had the access and knowledge necessary to create and maintain such a hidden operation within the company's most secure facilities. While forensic analysis of the room's contents began the grim process of identifying all the victims whose lives had ended in this underground prison. The forensic analysis of the hidden underground chamber and its horrific contents revealed the existence of a sophisticated criminal operation that had been exploiting Disney's vast infrastructure and trusted reputation to systematically abduct and abuse children for over a decade. Dr. Robert Chen, the lead forensic pathologist assigned to examine the evidence, determined that Sarah and Emma Williams had survived approximately 4 months in captivity before succumbing to a combination of malnutrition, respiratory infections, and the psychological trauma of prolonged confinement in the cramped, poorly ventilated underground space. The videotapes found in the room, though extremely disturbing to review, provided crucial evidence about the identity of the perpetrators, showing several Disney employees who had been involved in the abduction and confinement of children during different time periods over the years. Analysis of the recordings revealed that the twins had been lured from the Space Mountain area by a Disney cast member dressed as a maintenance worker, who had gained their trust by claiming their parents had sent him to bring them to a special surprise in a restricted area of the park, a tactic that had apparently been used successfully with multiple victims. The investigation uncovered that the criminal network had consisted of at least 4 Disney employees from different departments, including maintenance, security, and attraction operations, who had collaborated to identify potential victims, create opportunities for abductions, and maintain the secrecy of the underground chamber where children were held. Physical evidence collected from the scene included fingerprints, DNA samples, and fabric fibers that connected the suspects to multiple crimes, while analysis of employee records revealed that several of the perpetrators had been granted access to restricted areas where the criminal activity had taken place. The investigation also revealed that Disney Corporation had received internal reports about suspicious behavior from some of these employees over the years, but had failed to adequately investigate the allegations or implement appropriate safeguards to protect young visitors from predatory staff members. Personnel files showed that at least 3 of the employees involved had criminal histories related to offenses against minors that had not been detected during the company's background check processes. The most chilling discovery was that the underground chamber was just one of multiple locations that had been used by the criminal network, with evidence suggesting the existence of at least 2 additional sites in different Disney properties that had not yet been discovered by authorities. The scope of the criminal operation extended beyond simple abduction, with evidence indicating that the perpetrators had been producing and distributing child pornography using their victims, and had connections to similar networks operating at other major theme parks and tourist destinations around the country. The exposure of the criminal network operating within Disney World triggered the largest investigation in the history of the theme park industry, with legal and corporate consequences that extended far beyond the specific case of Sarah and Emma Williams. The FBI immediately took control of the investigation, expanding it to include all Disney properties in the United States, and coordinating with international law enforcement agencies to investigate possible connections to similar operations at Disney parks in Paris, Tokyo, and Hong Kong. Arrests began immediately, with 4 current and former Disney employees being charged with crimes including kidnapping, murder, conspiracy, and production of child pornography, while additional investigations identified dozens of accomplices and facilitators who had been aware of the criminal activity but had failed to report it to authorities. Disney Corporation faced unprecedented corporate criminal charges for criminal negligence, cover-up, and endangering the welfare of minors, with government investigators uncovering evidence that high-level executives had been aware of reports about suspicious activity, but had chosen to prioritize protecting the company's image over the safety of children. The scandal resulted in the forced resignation of Disney's CEO and multiple senior executives, while the company faced civil lawsuits worth hundreds of millions of dollars from victims' families and shareholders, who alleged that management had concealed material information that affected stock values. Congressional hearings about the case revealed systemic failures in theme park industry oversight, leading to new federal legislation requiring enhanced background checks for employees, improved monitoring systems, and mandatory reporting protocols for suspicious activity involving minors. David and Linda Williams finally received the answers they had sought for 9 years, but confirmation that their daughters had suffered before dying brought them little comfort, though they expressed satisfaction that the truth had finally been revealed and that other children would be protected by the reforms that would result from the case. International media coverage of the scandal severely damaged Disney's reputation as a safe family destination, with park attendance declining significantly in the following years as the company struggled to rebuild public trust through transparent security improvements and victim compensation programs. The case also inspired similar investigations at other major theme parks, revealing that security vulnerabilities and potential for criminal activity were not unique to Disney, but represented systemic weaknesses throughout the family entertainment industry. The Williams family used their legal settlement with Disney to significantly expand the Sarah and Emma Foundation, which now operates child safety programs at theme parks worldwide, and has been instrumental in developing tracking technologies and alert systems that have prevented numerous potential abductions. The aftermath of the Disney World scandal fundamentally transformed the theme park industry globally, establishing new safety standards and oversight mechanisms that protect millions of children who visit family entertainment venues each year. While the case of Sarah and Emma Williams became a symbol of the importance of corporate accountability and persistent advocacy, Disney Corporation implemented the comprehensive Williams Protocol, a security system that includes mandatory federal background checks for all employees, real-time video monitoring with artificial intelligence to detect suspicious behavior, and immediate response protocols for children reported missing or lost within park boundaries. The company also established an independent child protection department, led by former FBI agents and licensed social workers, that operates with full authority to investigate any reports of suspicious activity and has unrestricted access to all areas of the parks without prior notice to management. The federal legislation known as the Sarah and Emma Williams Child Protection in Theme Parks Act requires all amusement parks with more than 50,000 annual visitors to implement standardized security systems, including high-definition security cameras in all public areas, emergency communication systems, and evacuation plans specifically designed for situations involving missing children. The industry voluntarily adopted even stricter standards than required by law, with the International Association of Amusement Parks and Attractions, IAAPA, establishing a child safety certification program that is now considered essential for responsible operation of any family attraction. Technological advances developed in response to the case include RFID identification bracelets for children under 12, facial recognition systems that can immediately identify employees or visitors who have been banned from parks, and artificial intelligence algorithms that analyze behavior patterns to identify potential risk situations before they become emergencies. The reforms also included creation of international shared databases of theme park employees who have been terminated or charged with crimes related to minors, preventing problematic individuals from simply moving between different entertainment companies. David and Linda Williams have become internationally recognized experts in theme park safety, consulting with governments and entertainment companies worldwide to implement better child protection protocols, while their foundation has trained thousands of employees in recognizing signs of predatory behavior and responding to emergency situations. The memorial established at the site where Sarah and Emma were abducted has become a place of education and reflection, where families learn about child safety while honoring the memory of the victims and celebrating the security improvements that their tragedy inspired. Universities now offer specialized courses in child safety and protection in recreational environments that use the Williams case as a fundamental study, ensuring that future generations of park managers and entertainment professionals understand both the responsibilities and consequences of failing to protect young visitors. A decade after the discovery of the horrific truth about Sarah and Emma Williams, the impact of their case continues to reverberate throughout the global family entertainment industry, establishing legal precedents and safety protocols that have saved countless lives while transforming how corporations approach child protection responsibilities. The Sarah and Emma Foundation has expanded internationally, operating programs in 30 countries and having trained over 75,000 theme park employees in techniques for recognizing suspicious behavior, emergency response protocols, and methods for creating safe environments for visiting families. Disney Corporation, though initially devastated by the scandal, emerged as a leader in theme park security after investing over $3 billion in safety improvements, monitoring technology, and training programs that are now considered the industry gold standard. The technologies developed in response to the case have found broader applications in child protection, with tracking and early warning systems being adopted by schools, shopping centers, and other public spaces where children might be at risk of becoming separated from supervisors or encountering dangerous individuals. David Williams, now in his 60s, has dedicated his life completely to foundation work and has been internationally recognized as an expert in theme park security, consulting with governments and entertainment companies around the world to implement better child protection protocols. Linda Williams, after years of therapy and healing work, became a licensed therapist specializing in helping families who have lost children in traumatic circumstances, using her own experience to provide comfort and guidance to other parents facing similar tragedies. The case inspired multiple documentaries, books, and television programs that educated the public about hidden risks that can exist even in seemingly safe environments, and about the importance of constant vigilance and open communication between parents and children about personal safety. Legal reforms inspired by the case have expanded beyond theme parks to include enhanced background check requirements for any employee working regularly with children, mandatory reporting systems for organizations that suspect child abuse, and more severe corporate penalties for companies that fail to protect minors in their care. The annual International Theme Park Child Safety Day, observed every August 16th, brings together safety professionals, law enforcement, and families from around the world to share best practices, remember victims, and recommit to protecting children in recreational environments. Research institutions have established scholarship programs in the names of Sarah and Emma, funding studies by graduate students and researchers investigating child protection technologies, predator identification methods, and trauma recovery for families affected by crimes against children. The case has become required reading in criminal justice programs, social work education, and business ethics courses, ensuring that future professionals understand the importance of putting child safety above corporate interests and the devastating consequences that can result from institutional failures to protect vulnerable populations. 15 years after the resolution of the case, Sarah and Emma Williams are remembered not only as victims of horrific crimes, but as catalysts for a global transformation in child protection that has created a safer world for millions of children who visit theme parks and recreational facilities each year. Their names appear on child protection legislation in dozens of countries, on security technology systems implemented in thousands of recreational facilities, and in training programs that have educated hundreds of thousands of employees about recognizing and preventing dangerous situations for minors. The Sarah and Emma Foundation has evolved into an international children's rights organization operating with an annual budget of over $150 million, funding research into child protection technologies, providing resources for families affected by crimes against minors, and advocating for government policies that prioritize child safety in all public spaces. David and Linda Williams, though forever marked by the loss of their daughters, have found purpose in their work as child protection advocates and have been honored with multiple international awards for their tireless dedication to preventing other families from suffering similar tragedies. Disney Corporation has maintained its commitment to child safety, establishing the Sarah and Emma Williams Family Safety Research Center at its corporate headquarters, where scientists and security experts continuously develop new technologies and methodologies to protect young visitors. The case has inspired an entire generation of researchers, technologists, and child advocates who have dedicated their careers to developing increasingly sophisticated systems for detecting, preventing, and responding to threats against children in recreational and public spaces. Security improvements implemented in response to the case have been credited with preventing over 300 potential abductions at theme parks worldwide, while early warning systems have helped reunite thousands of lost children with their families before situations could escalate into emergencies. Each year, millions of families visit theme parks around the world with confidence that robust protections exist against those who would seek to harm children, a security that exists because two little girls in matching pink dresses paid the ultimate price to expose the vulnerabilities that once existed in these supposedly safe spaces. The underground chamber where Sarah and Emma spent their final months has been sealed permanently and converted into a memorial space that serves as a somber reminder of the importance of vigilance and the consequences of institutional failures to protect children. Their story continues to be told in schools, community centers, and safety training programs around the world, ensuring that new generations understand both the joys and responsibilities that come with protecting children in public spaces, and that the memory of Sarah and Emma Williams continues to inspire better protection for all children. Today, more than 2 decades after Sarah and Emma Williams walked through the gates of Disney World for the last time, their legacy lives in every security system that protects a child, every employee trained to recognize predatory behavior, and every family that can enjoy theme parks with confidence that sophisticated protections exist against those who would exploit the trust and innocence of childhood. The technological advances inspired by their case have evolved into artificial intelligence systems that can monitor thousands of security cameras simultaneously, automatically detecting behavior patterns that might indicate risk to children and instantly alerting security personnel for immediate intervention. The theme park industry, once vulnerable to predators who exploited privileged access and the inherent trust of family environments, now operates under some of the strictest security protocols of any civilian industry, with standards that rival those used in national security installations. David and Linda Williams, now grandparents who have found new joy in their grandchildren while continuing their tireless work in child protection, often reflect on how their love for Sarah and Emma has been transformed into a force that protects millions of other children around the world. The Williams Protocol has been adopted by organizations far beyond entertainment, including schools, shopping centers, airports, and any public space where children might be at risk, creating a global network of protection that would have been unimaginable before their tragedy. Their photographs, taken during their last happy day at Disney World, are displayed in the memorial as reminders both of innocence lost and of the transformative power of parental love that refuses to accept that such loss should be in vain. The story of Sarah and Emma continues to be told in documentaries, educational programs, and training materials that reach millions of people annually, ensuring that their memory inspires continued vigilance and improvements in child protection. The systems that now protect children in theme parks are so advanced that many visitors never realize the multiple layers of security operating invisibly around them. From facial recognition cameras, to algorithms that analyze movement patterns to identify anomalous behavior, every child who returns home safely after a day of family fun carries with them a bit of the legacy of Sarah and Emma Williams. And every theme park employee who has been trained to prioritize child safety above all other considerations is fulfilling the implicit promise that no family should ever again experience the nightmare that the Williams family endured. Their story demonstrates that even the darkest tragedies can be transformed into forces for good when love, determination, and commitment to justice combine to create lasting changes that protect the most vulnerable members of our society, ensuring that Sarah and Emma Williams are remembered not only for how they died, but for the countless lives their deaths ultimately saved.